Hello, my bookish darlings! As you may know, every month I do Shelve It or Shove It, where I pick books based solely on their covers. So I am getting well acquainted with the many different types of book covers we've seen in 2022, but I just saw an article about the trends of book covers in 2023, so I want to go ahead and react to it. Who am I? I am the booktube goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. And by the way, the covers I personally like are the illustrated covers with characters you may meet or have seen. And these are the covers I grew up with in science fiction and fantasy, especially in the 70s, 80s, where they had really rich, saturated, interesting covers, in my opinion. And now we've gone the other direction where you don't see much artwork at all, and it's just text and things around the text, like Court of Thorn and Roses. If that's your jam, great. It's not mine. But let's go ahead and see what this year is going to bring, because maybe it'll bring something different. I hope so. Okay, here we are looking at the 9 book cover design trends that await us in 2023. This is from MIBL Art, and I believe they create covers for indie books. So one would hope that they have a pulse on the market. So let's go ahead and scroll down. How to predict future book cover design trends. Predicting the future is difficult, but we will try, thank you. Moreover, it applies to our favorite occupation, book cover design. Okay, so what awaits us in 2023? First, book cover trends are more or less stable and permanent. Okay? After all, there is a clear understanding in the industry of how a marketable book cover should look like. It often does not make sense to reinvent the wheel. Fair enough. The main thing is to ensure that your book covers look professional and harmonious, meeting the genre standards. So we started by analyzing the past year's trends in best-selling books to understand the secret to those book cover successes. In 2022, book design was characterized by minimalism, contrasting blends of colors and textures, prominent typography, illustration, good, and patterns. Most of these trends are effective and timeless, so we can even see them in 2021. Then we looked into the general trends of graphic design because book cover art is a part of it. Makes sense. So far, so good. This lets us discover which new techniques are relevant and which cover designers can use. For example, 3D modeling and AI-generated art. I am not a big fan of 3D models on my covers, and I have seen some fantastic AI-generated art, but of course that comes with its own conversation that we won't get into now. But we can apply these trends to create realistic characters in enchanting fictional worlds. Okay, let's go down and see what they're picking up. Object-based book covers with symbolic meanings. The minimalist book covers, which do not involve many objects, complex decorative elements, or protagonists, remain in trend. Instead, they include the author's name, the book title, and one item of symbolic or hidden meaning. Interesting. Usually the background does not contain settings or landscapes, but a 1 or 2 tone canvas. Thus, the reader turns their full attention to the book title and wants to discover what is hidden behind the mysterious object. Genres are thriller, mystery, horror, and nonfiction. The examples they have are Alex North's The Angel Maker. There is this matchstick with this angel wing as a flame. I think that's pretty cool. And then an upside down forest, maybe, and the red is like blood. I'm not mad at this cover. I don't know if I would ever have chosen this for Shove It or Shove It because it's just a little too simple. The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. I don't like this as much. I mean, there's a golden spoon with a manor or some type of Downton Abbey type castle on top. I'm not interested. But I like the splash of blood on the spoon. I guess a murder mystery. And then Origami Murders by Kev Freeman. Why am I thinking of Blade Runner? Anyway, there is a origami of a butterfly with blood splattered on it. Birch and Cane Mystery Thriller. It's okay. These aren't my favorite covers. Of these three, I like Angel Maker the most. But let me know in the comments what you think. Trend number 2, complex and ornate patterns. Detailed and complex decorative elements occupy the entire plane of book covers. They include various patterns, symbols, and objects that are harmoniously intertwined. The reader can examine them endlessly, and typography plays a vital role in this type of book cover because it must match the complex composition of patterns. When choosing font, it is better to prefer serif fonts with curls. And our 3 examples are Murder Your Employer. I actually really like this cover. And like I said, I'm not that fond of just the big fonts with the stuff around it, but there is something about this that makes it look like an academic text. And I kind of like that. Second example, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I saw on Shove It or Shove It, and I was intrigued by it because it looks like an encyclopedia. I just like this style. The Adventures of Amina and Straffi by Shannon Chakraborty. I don't like as much as the other 2, but it's still interesting. And by the way, the genres for this type of cover is fantasy, thriller, and mystery. I'm okay with this. Even though the main thing is the font, there's just something that's drawing me into this. It looks like academic textbooks. I don't know. What do you think? Trend number 3, colorful vector illustrated book covers. Colorful book covers with simple vector images are another trend of 2023. Vivid drawings set the right mood and evoke certain emotions essential for the story plot. Readers can often see attractive main characters, bright settings, and cute animals on book covers. Colors are vital as they grab the audience's attention, spreading positive and romantic vibes. As for typography, choose large serif or cursive font. Okay, genres are romance, young adult, and cozy mysteries. I do not like these covers, but if you do, that's great. Begin Again. It just looks too cartoony. It's just not grabbing me. Make a Wish by Helena Hunting is next. Same thing as with the first one. The Witches Are Coming by Brooke Blake. I like more, probably because it has witches in it, but still, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not looking forward to seeing more of these colorful vector illustrated book covers. So, trend number 4, realistic 3D modeling. I'm saying I didn't usually like it, but let's see where it goes here. The new level of illustrated book covers, after all, 3D modeling allows you to create realistic images of the main characters as close as possible to the description in the book and the author's imagination. In addition to the protagonists, you can depict 3D settings and different artifacts. This design trend allows readers to immerse themselves in the plot and touch the story as much as possible. Genres are only fantasy and science fiction, which is what I read. So, I may change my mind about 3D book covers because I like all 3 of their examples. And it is not what I expect in 3D modeling because Cam Sinclair's Shadow of the Winter Moon, I would never have guessed with 3D modeling. It looks almost photorealistic, but I like that design. It's a little dark for me, a little moody. But the second one, The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown, I like that a lot. And I guess it's the skill level of the 3D modeler, because I could show you some that don't really do it for me. These are great. And The Improbables by Kurt Steiner, I like this one as well. Not as much as the second one. I think my favorite of these three is The Scourge Between Stars. For The Improbables, I wish there was more of a background, because it is looking like a 3D model figure just sticking out in the middle of the cover. But I am changing my mind about 3D modeled covers. Trend number 5, bright monocolored book covers. Another trend in the design of book covers is when one color occupies almost 90% of the space. Such covers are bright and eye-catching and serve as an excellent background for typography. However, monogamous color does not always mean minimalism. You can add many details of different shades of the same color, or choose more colors that will take up a minimum of space. Genres are romance, thriller, mystery, fantasy. Of these three, okay, I see what they're saying. I do not like the first one. It looks like that colored vector ones we saw before. It's just too cartoony and simple. I do like the second one, The Secrets of Heartwood Hall by Katie Lumsden. I like the cutout silhouette, and I like the red color, but it's not just monotone. Is there some ombre effect, or is that just sort of a trick of the illustration of the thorns? I do like that a lot. And then Sally Fang Glint Luopan, I assume is a fantasy. It's mostly green, and I do like that column of green leaves with the woman's face in the middle. So I guess I'm okay with this as well. Trend number 6, flowery and botanic motifs. The trend is immortal, is it? And has not lost its relevance for many years. However, it finds new ways of implementation in design. In addition to the classic decoration of the book title with flowers and plants, we see how the designers play with the main character's appearance with the help of botanical motifs. I do not like this type of cover. We see the genres are romance and young adult. And the examples, the first one's not bad because there's a woman's face and there's all these flowers in the center of it, which is making me say, what? The Things We Do to Our Friends, a novel by Heather Darwent. I wouldn't pick it, but I'm not mad about it. The Villa by Rachel Hawkins is not for me. I mean, there's these lemons with some flowers. It has no appeal to me. And Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler, I kind of like because it's sort of this minimalistic illustration with flowers on it, but you see this woman's face. I think it's more the genres these are aimed at, the romance and young adult romance, because usually I pick the science fiction fantasy. This just isn't the type of genre I'm drawn to where these covers, I assume, work. Trend number 7, vivid and contrasting color blends. Unexpected combinations of bright and contrasting colors capture readers' attention from the first seconds they see the book. It can be both large-scale combinations and colored spots on a plain background. The design trend works well for illustrated covers such as Vector or more complex designs. It also allows you to play with typography. Genres are romance, young adult, nonfiction. Okay, I'm not a big fan of this type of cover as well. First one is Mame by Jessica George. I wonder if that's an anti-Mame twist. I don't know. I don't like that cover. Those colors don't do it for me, but they're bright. I like the second cover more, The Bandit Queens by Perini Schroff. I love those eyes on that black, just sort of looking off to the distance. And I like the different colors in the font. I like that cover. Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano, which is about Barbra Streisand. I don't know. But it's okay. It's okay. I like the artwork on it. The first one I don't like. These other two I can see. Trend number 8, typography as a key element. Again, this is what I do not like. This is what I'm sick of seeing. But this trend proved that we don't always need attractive main characters, iconic objects, or fantastical landscapes to create a selling book cover. Sometimes creative typography is enough, which occupies a central place in the composition or generally makes up the entire composition. This trend involves choosing an unusual font, combining various options, placing it, or playing with colors and textures. After all, typography can also create the right mood and evoke emotions. The 3 examples are Age of Ice by Deepti Kapoor. Cover is okay. Second one, Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. Do not like this one at all. And the last one, Leaving White Sands by Jeffrey Flatt. And there's sort of this map behind it with that big bright light type pixelation. I guess this is their thriller, maybe science fiction. I actually don't like seeing this type of cover in science fiction because I never quite know exactly what it's about, at least when I'm just picking a book by the cover. So, not my favorite trend. And trend number 9, AI-generated book covers. 2022 was the year when software capable of creating drawings burst into the lives of millions. If earlier such a tool was available, who's writing this, to a limited circle of people, then Midjourney makes this opportunity available to everyone. The use of AI-generated images to create book covers remains controversial, mainly due to copyright issues. However, we expect this direction to develop in 2023, and people will continue experimenting with Midjourney. And yeah, there is a lot of controversy because this AI-generated art apparently scans the internet for all types of drawings and uses those drawings as sort of a basis for creating their own AI-generated art. Very, very controversial. And looking at these 2 covers that they pulled up, Criminal Assault by Maria Korolov and Fantasy Castle by indie writer Jones. I assume these are indie writers that are using Midjourney or some type of AI program to create these gorgeous covers. I like these covers a lot. I like both of them. Not crazy about the font in either of them, but the images themselves, man, if you can create this with AI-generated art, especially for indie authors, that's quite the game changer. And say the genres are fantasy, horror, thriller, romance. I'm sure every genre can use AI-generated art. So I don't know what to think about that. I really don't. Let me know what you think down in the comments because this one is controversial, but I can see it helping so many indie authors out that struggle with getting a unique, affordable cover. So I don't know. I don't know what I think. That's all I'm going to say. You tell me what you think down in the comments. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.